Hey everybody, JJ here. Welcome back for another Saturday at Zoom Networking. We got a good gang in the house right now, and an absolutely awesome guest speaker. The young man speaking for us today has been a good friend of mine for quite a while. And you know what's crazy about social media is if you network properly, that's what it's all about, networking, building our business. You're going to make friends on the other side of the country. And sometimes these will be friends that you've never met in person, but you talk again and again and again. And all of a sudden, you're like really good friends. And you guys haven't even had a handshake or a hug yet. That is this guest speaker. I've known him for years. We've talked on the phone. Love him. He's awesome. But he's always busy. He's flying. He's like a real airline pilot for like national airlines. He's always flying around the friggin' world. So yeah, I got to give him a stop at LAX sometime. But our guest speaker today is my good friend, the captain, Yasser Hatab. Yasser, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, bro. How you doing?
I'm great, brother. I'm great.
Hey, thanks for the warm welcome, man. I appreciate it. I'm finally here, bro. Finally here after how
Oh
long?
yeah. And for those that don't know, we've tried to get him on before, but legitimately, he's flying all over the friggin' world. It's like, how do we get this guy sit in one place for an hour and a half? But we're honored to have you today.
Thank you, bro.
For those that don't know you, where in the country are you located?
So I'm originally from New York. Grew up in Brooklyn, New York. Shout out to the East Coast. East Coast is the best coast. I'm going to start off that way. So sorry, JJ. But I'm actually here in South Jersey. I lived in Philly for a little bit, but I'm in South Jersey, just a little southeast of Philly. So I got Philly to my left, Atlantic City to my right. So I'm in the middle of New Jersey.
Very
So
cool. Very
yep.
cool. Hey, we're going to jump into your topic today, which is how to pick an investing strategy and focus on it. And that's crucial. A lot of us get, the shiny item thing, shiny,
Shiny object syndrome. Yeah.
I mean, what's squirrel? What's that? What do we need to go at today?
Cool.
So your topic is really, really crucial, but I want to talk about you for a second,
Okay.
who you are. You're a great guy. You're a father. You're a husband, family man. You're highly respected. You're like that, Leonardo DiCaprio in the movie was wearing the airline pilot. Everybody respects this guy because that's a cool thing. That's a cool thing.
Thank you, bro.
But let's get back to the years when we're like, what are we going to do for our life, and what do we want to do when we grow up? We're 16, we're driving, we're 18, we're voting. What were you doing in your teens? Were you just another kid? Were you around airplanes? Was real estate something you got introduced to early on? Let's go, let's start there. What were you like as a teenager? What were you doing?
Man, you're taking it way back. Okay.
Yeah.
Before I started, there was this um interview with this African guy, and he couldn't say the word beginning, so he kept on saying beninging, in the beninging, and he just kept on saying it. So I promised myself I would not say that today. So I'm not going to start with in the beninging. All right. If you haven't figured out, guys, I like having a great time. Life is too short to be too serious all the time. So let's have some fun. I'm an interactive kind of guy as well. So drop it in the chat, do what you got to do. Engage me. Let's have some fun. We get medicals every single year. We have to go to a doctor, get checked out with our EKG and the vision tests and all that stuff. And I know that was kind of like walking on thin ice in the career. If you don't get your medical, you lose your flying career. So I knew I didn't want to be that typical pilot where I had a degree in aviation science, one of those BS degrees. I wanted a degree that I could fall back on and make some money with. And obviously here comes college days. I'm picking between a full tuition scholarship for a flight school, to get an aviation degree, or to go to business school. So I ended up going to business school. I went to Baruch College in New York, and then I got my master's in NYU right after it. So I fell back on business. Business has always been my thing, but I started business in my teens, actually. I was one of those kids riding around hustling, selling everything that I could sell, get my hands on, man. It started off, I was like 12, 13 years old, and it happened out of necessity, JJ. Grew up in a poor family, nobody, not a single millionaire in the family. And I put it in my mind ever since then that I wanted to be a millionaire, the first millionaire in my family. Um, After that, one hand washed the other. So I got into real estate, and I told my story to my tribe here. My tribe, some of my tribe members are here, so much love to you guys. Um, I told my story about how I got into real estate. It really started at 17, before I was even legal to hold a real estate license. I ran into this guy who was showing a house in Brooklyn, New York. I was a punk kid with the dyno, with the four pegs, and I ran into this guy. The guy, goes out of the first thing out of his mouth is, "Hey, what are you doing, kid?" Typical Brooklyn, New York Italian. Turned out to be one of the biggest brokers in the world in New York. For me, it was the world. End up, talking business with him, talking real estate, talking how I want to be an airline pilot. I had my pilot's license at that time, my private pilot license, my first license. It's multiple levels to it. I was like, hey, man, I need money to make, to get into flying. And I'm not going to keep on relying on my parents and all that, because I grew up poor, So I ended up working for this broker for a year for free, showing properties with him, answering questions at showings, going to walkthroughs with him, listing appointments, the whole 9 yards. I was working for free with him. 3 days after I turned 18, right after 9/11, I became a real estate licensed agent in New York. Then I closed my first deal, took the money, started putting it into rental properties. I started doing, investing pretty much. I immediately realized that, one rental property is not going to make you a millionaire, or two, or three, or four, or 10. So I started realizing that I needed to do other things that had to do with business. All right. This is when I started other business opportunities alongside real estate. So real estate for me was a tool. Money was a tool to get me to where I needed to be. I immediately realized I finished up my college degree and all that stuff, went to NYU, studied managerial accounting, operations management, the whole 9 yards. How to look at a business from the outside in, and how to trim the fat so that the business works smoothly with the HR department, the operations, everything that would make a business
How
go
old are you
down.
at this time?
At that time, I was a punk at 22 years old.
Wow.
So yeah, I was and I got my first deal at 18. Because I had a year leg up on, any other real estate agent getting into the business at
Yeah.
18. I could tell you this, when I went to do that test right
But
after 9/11, there was 24 people that took that test with me, 24 people that were in the class with me. Only one of us made it after the first year in business. The reason why, and I immediately realized it, was there was no focus. If you ask any of my tribe members, I talk about this a lot. I'm a big fan of focus, picking one thing and really focusing in on it. But a lot of people, can we agree that in real estate or in business in general, there's so many ways to make money
oh,
that people don't make money,
Yasser,
you know?
I want to run into your nickname, which is a captain. You've got your logo behind you, the property captain. So you're in your early 20s. You work with this broker. You've done a deal. You've done it at 18. You're learning how to run this business. When did you start flying the planes?
So I actually started as a mechanic first, just to be around the airport and the planes and all that stuff. Matter of fact, when 9/11 happened, I was actually there in LaGuardia Airport, and saw the first, saw the second, and I was barely 18. You know, um, but I started off as a mechanic just to be around planes and stuff, and to really understand how the airline industry works. I knew I didn't want to fly corporate jets. I knew I didn't want to do like the gigs, I knew I wanted to be in the airlines pretty
Have you
much.
done any prior training? Like, did you get like your solo pilot's license or anything? Is there
Yeah.
a progression? I mean, are you able to legally fly a plane at this point when you're working as a mechanic?
Yeah. So you know, in order for you to become a pilot, a private pilot, which is kind of like a driver's license, you know, to fly four-seater single engine planes like a Cessna or a Piper,
Yeah.
you would just need to be like 16 and a half just to solo and just to get your student license. And at 17, you could actually get your full license. That involves like an oral exam one-on-one with the FAA examiner, a written exam, and it's 100 questions in a certain amount of time. You take those two, and then you do a practical, which is kind of like the road test version of flying. You go up with a different examiner or the same examiner. You get signed off. You get your temporary license, and then a couple weeks later, from Oklahoma City, you get your green pilot's license. That's only the first level, though.
Yeah. Now, did you do that relatively early in age?
Yeah, I did that at 17. So
Okay.
I was up in a plane around 15.
So you're
Uh,
already flying by the time you're working as a mechanic.
yeah. I had a pilot's license as one of the few guys that had a pilot's license as a mechanic. Yeah. Um, I did that. It really wasn't for money. Like I was still doing my real estate. For me, it was just to be in the aviation industry and really do what I have to do to be around the industry. You know, the right people, the right flight attendants, the right pilots, everyone, you know. Um, you guys know what happened right after 9/11. Everything went to crap. The aviation industry, a lot of people got furloughed. And obviously, I was one of those guys. But
So
I had real estate going on.
let's
So,
a little bit, because I know you've got limited time, and we can talk for hours. We can talk for hours.
I love it.
So you're in your 20s. You're a pilot. You're a mechanic. At what age did you start flying the big planes?
So, a couple years down the road, I started in 2008.
So you're in your
The
20s still, your early 30s, or
2008, I was in my still 20s. Yeah, I was like 20. I can't remember. It was like 24 is when
okay.
I first started in the aviation industry, like actually flying the planes. And I started off for this company called, you ready for the throwback? Northwest Orient. You remember them
Yeah.
out of the West Coast? Yeah, they were based out of Minneapolis. You know, I started off with the Red Tails before Delta. I worked for Delta as a mechanic, but I also flew for the Northwest side. This is before the merger happened between both airlines. Um, so I started in 2008, you know, flying small planes, small jets, you know, the regional jets.
And
Then
gradually bigger and bigger.
they got bigger and bigger, yeah, to the
Yeah.
point where, you know, right now I'm actually going to be flying international on the wide bodies. I did that for a while, and then I'm going back to it pretty
I
much.
don't know much about airplanes. I know I fly from one place to another. You
I
know,
love
some
it.
guys in front and I'm in back having a cocktail.
So here's the homework for everyone. Boeing 757, Boeing 767. I fly both. I'm actually going down to
Wow,
Atlanta to get certified to fly those things again.
cool. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, for years it was the 747, I guess, was the common, and now they're obviously bigger.
Yep.
Uh, so you've been flying now these planes for what, some 10, 15 years?
Yeah, 15 years. I got my 15-year pin. Going on 16 years now, flying for the
So now
airlines.
you're balancing both a pilot and a real estate investor.
It's more like a real estate investor first and then pilot second at this point, you know,
Great,
because
great.
it goes back to, you know, the way I started the call, which was I don't trust the airlines and I don't trust W-2
Oh
to
yeah,
begin with,
yeah. We always
you
have it.
know.
So let me ask you: you've been a pilot, you've been a major airline pilot, and now you've obviously have established yourself as a successful real estate investor. And now you're not just an investor, but you've been a coach, you've been a trainer. Tell us about Coffee with the Captain.
Oh man, coffee with the captain. What a troublemaking group. I'll tell you. Bunch of crazy people in that group, man. Um, this is family. For me, I started off Coffee with the Captains launched in September of last year.
So you've
Uh,
decided to give back, is what it is.
I decided to really, it wasn't just giving back. Giving back is one thing, but leaving a legacy and changing people's lives is a whole different ball game. I got to a point, JJ, where I realized I was, you know, doing all these deals, doing all this business, you know, connecting with people left and right. And I realized, hey, you know, at this point, there's a lot of people like that. My broker, my first mentor, that really built me up at this point. So I wanted to be that person for everyone. whether they're brand new, not brand new, doesn't matter, you know. So Coffee with the Captain came along, and pretty much I launched it, and I started doing. It started off with just one call a week, you know, on Sundays, and then turned into a whole community of amazing people. And I can tell you right now, like, you know, we've had some amazing people that are stepping out of their own way and really doing what they need to do in order to grow. So for me, what motivated me and drives me every single day and gets me up in the morning and puts a smile on my face every single day is knowing that I'm going to leave this planet making 1,000 millionaires. And that's my life purpose. My life purpose is to make 1,000 millionaires.
Now, is this predominantly for a newer investor? Does someone have to be in for a year, get their feet wet already? You want people that already have deals under their belt?
Nope.
Who is the program designed for? Can anybody get this?
So, you know, can we agree there's mentorships out there like Sub 2 and all the other ones? You know, you and I met in Fortune Builders, you know, but this is not a mentorship. It's more of you learn and you apply it. So I have several teams that do several things, several niches like foreclosures, you know, and so this is applying it and also learning it. You know, we have so it's a little bit of a different model. So it's a business platform more than anything. Where
you've got a number of people on the call today who are your program.
They're with me, you know, and it's they're here. I got Kimmy here, Ivan, you know, Jennifer Balance is on here. There's a whole bunch of them, and obviously Pod is with me. The Podfather himself is with me. So
now let me ask you, Captain Yasser, Mr. I like Captain. I love the Captain. I love that. So as people come to you, they're investors and they're coming with different levels of experience. So how do we help them to pick an investing strategy? What's your suggestion? What's that kind of? Let's go into that for a minute because you got all these people that were out there.
Love it. You know, I get this question a lot, especially being an original one of the OG Subs 2 students as well. It really comes down to a few things, JJ. The first thing, and let's agree on this. If your personal life is good, your professional life is going to be good, whether it's W-2, entrepreneurship. And so it all starts with the home. It all starts with your personal life first, because your personal life may be different it will be different than my personal life, along with everyone else on the call here. And so I always say, start with your looking in the mirror first and start with looking at what your life is set up as. Okay. Do you have kids? Do you have a W-2 job? Okay. How many hours do you work with your W-2 job? Do you have a boss that breathes down your neck where you really cannot do anything else during the work hours?
But you work at home. Huge. Environment's huge.
Exactly. You know, so your environment is really the key here before you start jumping into any type of strategy, because there is so many ways to make money in real estate that a lot of people end up not making money in real estate, you know, because it's like, oh, you know, this person is telling me I'm not going to start naming names, but this mentor told me to do this, and this mentor told me to do this, and I do it differently. You know, I say, look at your home first. Okay, look at what's happening in your house. Are you married? Is your spouse going to be your partner? Are they not? Are they with you on the journey?
Are they not?
Are they not? Right, exactly. Are they there to bring you up or tear you down? Are they going to be your protagonist or antagonist? Right. So a lot of these things, you know, and ask me how I know, but we say this all the time in the tribe. Ask me how I know. All of us actually say that. We might as well be called that Ask Me How I Know gang, you know. And it really is. I was in a relationship with a woman, the mother of my kids, who was against me. I felt like I was swimming upstream as a salmon, you know. Now I'm paired up, and you know, Nia, you know, I'm paired up with a woman that's so down to earth, so cool, so powerful, and so supportive, you know, that it allows us to flourish and grow together. You know, that's the first thing I look at. You know, the other thing I look at is, you know, what kind of job you have. You know, I can tell you right now, as a pilot, it's a blessing, but it's also a curse. And the reason why I say that is because as a pilot, I have rotating schedule. So I have my schedule changes every single month and every single week.
Not only that, but you're traveling. You're not just working.
I'm traveling.
You're not even home. You're on the
I,
road.
I'm traveling. And I'll tell you this, Coffee Tribe, put it in the chat. Do you guys talk to me while I am still traveling or not? You know, so it's all about balance of what kind of job do you do? Okay. But the curse behind the job now is that when I travel, especially now that I'm doing international flying. So it's a little bit different for me. But when I'm off, I'm off. I'm off for like days, sometimes even weeks, you know. And we have a joke. If you guys see this, my beard, because I can't fly with the beard. If you guys see this, that means I've been off for like at least a week. So there you go. There goes the secret sauce, you know, to the captain. But however, the W-2 is not the only thing. I jump into mindset right after. How bad do you want it? Okay. How bad do you want it? Are you just saying this because you see the leaders out there doing it? Or do you want to do it so you could change your freaking life? Right. I'm big on that, guys. And you guys, a lot of people here on this call know that about me, you know? And so when I ask that question, how bad do you want it? I get two versions of it, JJ, right? JJ, how bad do you want it? And then the person responds, I want it real bad. Are you willing to put into work? Yeah. Okay, here's the work. And then next thing you know, do you see the back of their head walking away? You know, why? Because it's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. You know, this business is tough. Any business is tough, especially in the beginning when you're still trying to learn the business. You're still trying to put it together. You're still trying to network. You know, there's so much involved in it that what ends up happening, and this, by the way, if you're a real estate agent, same exact way. This is why real estate agents, brand new real estate agents wipe out in the first year because they have so much to learn.
Let me ask you. So we're talking about environment.
Yeah.
And we're also talking about as part of family and then how bad they want it. But within the landscape of real estate, you've got, as you know, Airbnbs and short-term rentals and short sales and long-term buy and hold. There's so many different shiny object syndrome. That's the word is shiny object. So is this what it means when you talk about picking a strategy?
Yes. Well, it's the first one. It's the first thing. And, you know, it really does come down to the internal first and then the external. The reason why I say that is because JJ, you and I have two separate lives, right? I have kids, right? I'm married and you don't, right? So it's a different lifestyle, different type of responsibilities, right? You know, and so what applies to me doesn't apply to you, JJ. And what applies to you doesn't apply to me, you know? And so I can tell you right now, one of my brothers, he's on this call, I'm not going to say his name, you know, he was struggling because he had little kids and he couldn't do seller calls while handling the kids, you know, because it's unprofessional, right? If it feels like it's like, oh, what are you running a daycare while doing this part-time, you know? And so I understood that. I gave grace to my brother because I understood where he was coming from as a father of four, you know? So what it comes down to, JJ, is that lifestyle first, then your mindset, then now you are free to go and decide what you want to do. Okay. So for example, here's a scenario. I'm dealing with a student of mine right now. This student is a single mom of four. She is struggling financially, and she went to other mentors, quote unquote mentors or gurus, right? That told her, oh, you should be doing fix and flip. I'm like, first of all, I've renovated well over 450 houses in my life. And I can tell you right now, I freaking hate that garbage.
Yeah.
Okay. I hate it. Why? Because I was younger. I'm in my 40s now. It's different. All right. My lifestyle has changed since. When I was single, no kids, no responsibilities, no wife. Yeah. I'll renovate 7, 8, 9, 10 houses at a time, you know, but now I'm at a different stage. So is this going to change based on your lifestyle and based on your stage of life? Absolutely. So this woman very nice lady. Her kids
Don't make her
range.
mad. Though. Don't make her mad.
Don't make don't
Don't
make
make
her
her
mad.
mad. She's very nice. Don't make
Mama
her
Bear will
mad.
come out, right? Mama Bear will come out. So, her kids range from 5 to 16 years old. 4 kids. It's a lot, for a single mom. The father's nowhere to be found, and some of the gurus told her go fix and flip. And I'm like, are they crazy? What are they smoking? You need something. First of all, you don't have cash, so you need fix and flips. You need cash. That's one. All right. Two, even if you have private money, you still want some reserves.
So
But
you
two,
basically you helped her change. You helped her find her focus by suggesting something that's more suitable for her lifestyle.
I asked her with the basic questions. What's your lifestyle looking like? Where are you living? How many kids do you have? I didn't know her from a can of paint, JJ. And so what I helped her do was really realize what her potential is and what she could do around because let's be real, as a parent, the parents on this call will tell you this, our kids run our lives.
Yeah.
These little knee biters, they run our lives, so everything revolves around them. There's soccer, the ballet, everything, so it was not feasible for her to manage a fix and flip. Financially, it didn't make sense. Also, mentally and physically, it did not make sense because fix and flips, they take a little bit of effort and thought process and calmness for you to really go through it. So this lady essentially got into a business where she was able to raise private money and she was able to focus on a strategy that she likes. She studied interior designing when she was in college. So you tell me, put it in the chat. What do you think made sense for her to get into as far as strategy?
Interior design, yeah.
She got into pretty much Airbnbs, right? All I did was I helped her out with the cleaning crew, got her, the right resources, her team to run an Airbnb. Then we started looking at properties that made sense for an Airbnb. So we picked markets and all that stuff.
So how many students do you have now with Cap? You have a big group, or are you training individually and then there's a big group, or is it everybody kind of different phases of the same thing?
I used to do one-on-one. Then I realized I went 13, 14 hours straight training, training 14 or 13, 14 students a day.
I know that.
So I ended up changing it into a group session where I have these calls now. And the tribe is here. It's called accountability landing pads, ALPs, where they're run by different captains, team captains in my community. So I have my leadership team. I don't do it all by myself because it's too much for one person to do. Also, Kimmy, like for example, Kimmy is the ALP captain for short-term and mid-term rentals in Coffee with the Captain. I have other different team captains, like Pod runs the acquisitions ALP. He teaches all about acquisition strategies and all that stuff. You take it from there. Now you could go apply it because I have teams where you can make money in these teams as well. So, right now I have, it's a very controlled group. I do interviews to get into the group. There is a public group, a public Facebook group for it. However, we have our own separate network, which is away from Facebook, that includes, the community talking to each other, recordings that I do or the other team captains do. If we have special guests, and I would love to bring you in as a special guest to talk all about Facebook, bro.
Love that.
And we have special guests that come in. We record those calls as well. They go into, and so we have a vault that has all the recordings, but we also have resources, that you could download and apply to your own business.
We've got about, I don't know, 25, 30 people on the call right now, but we're going to be posting this on YouTube. We're going to have people watching us for weeks and months and quite a while till you come back again and we do another one.
I love it. Love it, man.
If people are watching this now on YouTube and they want to connect with your group, what's the best way? Is there a website? Is there an Instagram page? Or they reach out to you on Facebook? Do you have a MySpace? Probably your MySpace page, right?
MySpace, my God, what is this, 1997, bro? So CWTCtribe.com. Coffee with the Captain, CWTCtribe.com. That is the website. You could go on there. We have merch obviously on there, but you could go into there and actually go schedule a one-on-one call with me.
Yasser, we've got
Um,
Kimmy Crombie. Kimmy, you're on with the captain. What's your question? Or welcome to the call. And you're actually working with him. So welcome.
Thank you. So, Yasser, I get to talk to you, I think, every day, which is super great. But I do have a question that I haven't asked in the tribe. What is your, if you had to do this all again, what would you do differently? Or what has been your favorite part about starting up the tribe?
I love it. That's a really good question, Kimmy. If I was to do it over again, I'd listen to my wife. That's first.
Everybody got to listen to Nia.
Yeah. So Nia, if you guys don't know Nia Fox is pretty dope woman. You know, she's awesome and she got a good head on her shoulder. And she's my partner in crime and everything and all the businesses that we have. Um, Nia had told me, JJ, actually, this goes back to when I first met you years ago. Nia was telling me, why don't you start a community? Why don't you start giving back now? This is when we first met up, JJ, you know. So if I was to do it all over again, I'd start earlier. I'd start better. Okay. And I'd start with a certain amount of people. Okay. Now, what was the second question? The
What has been your favorite? Sorry, I sound
oh, my
terrible.
favorite part. My
Yeah.
favorite part, I look at it as popcorn. Anybody love popcorn? I love popcorn. So
Butter and
so
salt.
you know how you put the pot, yeah, with salt and a little bit of butter, you know. Um, when you see popcorn pop, what happens? Do they all pop at the same time, or do they pop at individual times when they're ready to pop?
Yeah.
The best part about it being a mentor, giving back and turning 1,000 people into millionaires is that watching stage where I get to watch people grow and really pop out from kernels to popcorn, right? Not that you're edible people or anything like that, but seeing everyone grow and really get out of their shell has been so amazing. It puts a smile on my face. You guys keep me going. All right. To be able to see that and to see the growth is you can't put a price tag on that, you know? And so I do love my tribe. I love what I see, you know, the growth. And I Kimmy, like we've had people who are terrified of their own shadow now hosting calls live to sellers, foreclosure sellers, you know, shout out to Savvy, you know, and you have people who don't know anything about real estate investing. And now they're learning all these different strategies, including yourself, Kimmy. You know, you and I met through another coach who's a
Oh my
good brother,
gosh,
you know,
we
but
did. It was Bud.
Bud introduced us to each other over a deal, over
I
a
love
foreclosure
Bud. I love Bud.
deal. But essentially, you want to tell him how that happened?
Yeah. So I was about maybe 2 months into my real estate like mentorship that I was a part of. I had no idea what I was doing with creative finance because if you're on this call and you know who I am, you know that I came in with an exit strategy to a mentorship and coaching program. I didn't know that wasn't common, but Justin and I, the babe, we wanted to buy a vacation rental in Scottsdale because we were just going to buy something for ourselves and not rent it out. And then, like all things, Justin's like, "Hey, babe, why don't we just rent it out and make money?" Like, "Oh, okay, we can do that." So we came into the mentorship and we were just getting our feet wet with it. I don't even think we were out of escrow. And I had an inbound lead through social media of some kind. This guy and his wife were going through a really tough time. They needed money. The only asset they had was their house. And I was struggling so much because I didn't have enough experience to be able to help them. It was really above where I was at, but it was the day that I leveled up because I emailed Bud like 4 times. I was like, "I need a call right now. I need a call right now." And he was like, "Oh my gosh." So he hops on a call with us and he's like, "Well, just call the guy up." So that day, like not even 60 days into my mentorship training, I closed with Bud on live on Zoom, like coaching me through it, typing. Justin, I don't even think we were in the same place at the same time. He was just sitting there with his jaw on the floor because I had no idea that I had just closed a creative finance deal. But the thing is, I felt really strongly that I was doing these people a disservice because if I were their friend, I would have advised them differently, but I'm not their friend. I'm an investor. And that was the day that Bud was like, okay, we need to bring Yasser in, because then they had a crisis of confidence and Yasser had to coach us through it. But that, yeah, I think I've known Yasser for just that long because of that situation. And now Bud and I do our live stream thing on Fridays too. But this whole thing, like, I wouldn't even be here without, Yasser and Bud and Pod, which is cool.
That's awesome. Thank you, Kimmy. So yeah, that is, you guys, I mean, that you heard it, JJ, that for yourself, seeing that and the development in Kimmy is one of my closers actually on the closing team.
Cool.
And so Kimmy is learning sales negotiation for me and someone else. So we're not going to say his name on there, but he's
all right.
He's out there. He's out there. He was in the Closers Olympics. That's all I'm going to say. Cool. Love you, MAX. No. So everyone has their strengths. Everyone has their weaknesses. And so, seeing people grow into their strengths and turning their weaknesses into strengths has been like the best journey ever so far. And we're just getting started.
Awesome. So Kimmy, that answered that for you, Kimmy?
Yes, for sure. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much for being on with us today. I think we've got another question here waiting for the captain. Justin Kremer, you are on with the captain. What's your question, my friend?
Yeah, so Yasser, JJ, thank you for doing this. This is pretty amazing. And it hits home actually a lot because I talk to a lot of new sub-2 students, and this is a big topic. Like, I've got shiny object syndrome. I don't know what I'm doing. That's like one of the problems is there's just so much stuff, right? There's so much stuff. So you had mentioned you started off doing fixing and flipping.
I started off with a rental property first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was my first one.
And but you realize, like, this fixing and flipping, this isn't manageable, like, with my lifestyle right now. So at some point you switched and like found a niche. What did that look like for you? Like, what was that process like for you?
Family okay. Is what did it for me. I got married. I got my first kid, then my second kid right after. And I realized, holding two babies while trying to do renovations and manage contractors was almost impossible. Right. And at that time we were doing, like, I was managing 11 when my second one was born. So I realized immediately, like, I need to change it up. So I could be at home with the kids more and really, because I was managing it with the airline job too, so that's what triggered it for me. That's why I always start with the personal life first. Yeah. What's your situation currently? I'm in a better position, thank God, and all the thanks to my creator and my higher power, for giving me the ability and the clarity to be able to, do what I do, which is giving back to the community and changing people's lives, but also still investing, And so my investing, I don't do fix and flips anymore. I could if I want to, we have the capital for it, but I don't have the time for it, because I'm at a point right now where I need to train other people, give back to the next generation of investors. So that's more important for me than the actual measly fix and flip for me.
Right.
Is the $50,000, $60,000, $100,000 triple digit, 6-digit flips great? Yeah. But it's not the money for me. For me, it's the purpose. So what we're doing right now is we changed it up to more buy and hold and commercial multifamily. That's our jam. I mean, nice. I could talk to you until I'm blue in the face. I love it. And that's another thing too, Justin, is that you have to enjoy what you do. If you're miserable doing fix and flips, get out. If you're miserable, doing Airbnbs, you're like, oh my God, these guests are driving me crazy. This cleaning crew's not showing up. Leave. Nobody's hitting you on the head to do it. You see what I mean? So don't let my best piece of advice I ever got was, don't let the pressures of society make you do something that you don't want to do.
I love that. I love that. Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's all about you, what you want. And the only person you should be comparing yourself to is the person in the rearview mirror, which is you. Okay? Where you were and where you are now. That's why rearview mirrors are small and windshields are big. So you can always look forward.
Yeah, I like that analogy. It's a good
So,
analogy.
that's and much love to you as a sub two brother.
Yeah.
I love the hat, man. Like I lost mine. I don't know where it went. It's somewhere when we moved.
Yeah, the $10,000 hat. Yeah.
And I could tell you something though, being with Pace from the beginning, being one of his original students, it was a blessing. It
Oh,
was a
100%.
blessing. We dealt with the brunt of it where it was like still kind of new and unorganized, but it was a smaller group, so it was a little bit more intimate, and that's why we're Coffee with the Captain. We're actually keeping it intimate. We're not trying to grow it into thousands and thousands. I wanted more intimate so that everyone knows each other and they could do business with one another, So Justin, tell me about your life, your family, kids, married. What are you?
So I'm single. I have a girlfriend, sort of like we're still new, so there's that. No kids. I work in cybersecurity as my W-2, and that's really demanding, especially lately, which makes it difficult because I never know. I never know if I'm going to get pulled into something at random times, so it makes it difficult to kind of time block my day. But that's not all the time. It doesn't go down like that all the time. Most of the time it's pretty easy to schedule my days out. I dedicate at least anywhere from like 2 to 4 hours on the business every day. So I'm fortunate I get to work remotely from home, so I can work on the business from home. And that's really helped me kind of move things along. Focused on right now, I'm building an acquisition business, just doing direct to agent. And I really enjoyed that because the sales pressure there's a lot less sales pressure in that, at least in the beginning. Sales pressure ramps up obviously as you get stuff under contract and you're dealing with agents and all that. But but that's okay. The initial sales pressure wasn't there, and that's what got me interested in it. And I started to enjoy that. I enjoy building the relationships too, so I like that part of it.
Love it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. And that's my business. And we're still new. Like I've closed with others. I've closed some direct to seller deals, but we've had at least 5 deals under contract that all fell out because of people not being able to get their loans together, just various reasons. Anything. So one thing I've learned in real estate is anything and everything will happen.
It's not if something happens, it's when something happens.
When it's gonna happen. Yeah,
right. Exactly. I love that.
Yeah, and so that's where I'm just chugging along, man. That's where I'm at. Yeah.
Cool. Are you happy?
I think I'm happy. Yeah, I mean, I get fulfillment out of it. I definitely, I feel like I get more fulfillment out of like building the relationships, quite honestly.
Love it.
Than like closing a bunch of deals. Like don't get me wrong, that's definitely nice. I mean, the money's nice. Yeah, not. How should I put it? I also enjoy, like, I'm an integrator. I'm more of like, I'm sort of a rare breed. I'm sort of an integrator slash, visionary type personality. So I'm very I'm personable. I like talking to people, but I'm also like an integrator, which is a weird combo. So I enjoy the back end stuff and learning the back end stuff too, and working on that stuff. So I get some fulfillment out of that as well, and helping other people with that kind of stuff as well. But yeah, I'd say I'm happy.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Sounds good. I chose violence today, so I'm going to start off with this. Gun to your head, pick one. Visionary, integrator.
Yeah. Integrator.
Integrator?
Yeah, for sure.
CRMs, systems, not really dealing with people, front end stuff, like talking to sellers, talking to agents.
That's such a hard decision to make.
I know it's a hard decision.
Without thinking about it too long, integrator for sure.
Integrator. Yeah. You enjoy that more?
I'd say so.
It puts a smile on your face?
On a certain level, yeah, I'd say so, because that's kind of where I gravitate towards, right?
Got it. Because you're corporate security, right? I mean, that's that's your jam, Yeah. I can tell you this, I'm both.
Yeah.
I'm both as well.
Yeah.
But I'm a very good integrator. I'm a very good systems builder, but I hate it with a passion. I'm so miserable when I do it. I look all gloomy and doomy when I'm doing it, to the point where anyone that's on the call with me sees it on my face. Yeah. They're like, dude, you're miserable. I'm like, yeah, because I haven't talked to a seller in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And so
Yep.
one of the best things you could do for yourself is pick one. What's easier? If I put you in a 10 by 10 area and I told you to catch 2 chicken at the same time, are you going to be able to do it?
No, probably not.
Are
Well,
you
it
going to be able
it depends on the tools you give me to do it.
to? Well, no, this is bare hands. Like we're
Oh, I
talking
got you. No, then yeah.
primitive days, right?
No.
Is it easier? Is it easy to catch one chicken?
Yeah, I'd argue it's not that easy, but yeah.
Not that easy, right?
Yeah.
But is it possible?
Two.
Yeah.
Easier than 2.
Yeah.
It's easier than 2, right? So it's
Yeah.
possible. It's almost impossible to catch both of them at the same time. This is what I see by a lot of sub 2 students coming in. A lot of people coming to me as a leader, and they always ask me the same question: which one should I do? I'm like, which one do you want to do? You know. So let's talk about your strategies now. Based on your lifestyle, you obviously have the right mindset for it. You're dialing, you're doing the business 4 hours a day around your W-2. So you already have the mentality for it. You know you want it. Okay. What's going to put a smile on your face with one strategy? If I was to give you one strategy that you could focus on for 5 years, what would it be? You have Airbnb.
Man, I'd want to talk to agents, man, to be honest.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I'd want to talk to agents, and I'd want to build the relationships, and I'd want to build that acquisitions pipeline.
Okay. So that's the visionary side now.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that's weird, right? This is why it's just such a hard so let me put it this way. I love the integrator side when it's helping me and my team and it's helping other people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it. Yeah. So back to the same question.
Yeah.
Gun to your head. Pick one now. Same question.
I guess it would have to be the visionary side of it.
Yeah. You see, and by the way, I went through the same thing years ago, and I realized, okay, I'm great at what I do on both sides, but which one do I truly love? What gets me smiling in the morning? What gets me going during let's say, and I'm going to ask you this question now. All right. And this goes for everyone on the call, including you, JJ. All right. When you have a bad day, you wake up, you roll out of bed on the wrong side of bed, just one of those days, you didn't get enough sleep, your neck hurts, whatever it is, which one would put a smile on your face when your hours to work, your business, those 4 hours, which one really puts a smile on your face? Is it the integrator working with systems, CRM, all that stuff? Or is it talking to agents?
Yeah, it's talking to agents. It's definitely talking to agents. It's talking to agents and like training folks on my team, that kind of stuff. It's really the relationship stuff, man. Like
the relationship stuff.
To be honest, yeah. I mean,
you definitely have your answer then.
Yeah,
it's the relationships. Visionaries are big on relationships. My wife, Nia, integrator. I'd be lucky if I could get her on talking to one-on-one, let alone a whole room like this.
Interesting.
She would rather like croak than to
get
on
a
call like this. You see what I mean? Yeah. So that's your answer. So let me ask you one more question. Right? The next 5 years, where do you see yourself in real estate? Are you owning Airbnbs? Are you owning multifamily, single family? Are you doing fix and flips? Are you doing wholesale? Where are you at? Just the next 5 years.
Well, it's going to be, at least for the first year, it's going to be wholesale. It's going to be capitalizing business. And then for the next 4 years after that, yeah, it's buy and hold. It's going to be rental properties, single family, and eventually into multifamily. That's the goal. Yeah.
Single family into multifamily. What kind of multifamily?
I probably wouldn't want to go beyond like 100 units, at least especially within the first 5 years. And
why?
Just the management side of it. That's just some of the stuff I've heard. Of course, I don't have like a bunch of experience in that. That's just kind of based on stuff I've heard. Going beyond a certain number of units kind of gets tricky at a certain level, right? But I haven't really given the multifamily side of it that much thought because I've been so focused on the single family thing right now, and getting used. So I have a property. We have a property in Huntington Beach that my brother and I bought in 2015. So I have a little bit experience of having a property and renting it. and I've really enjoyed that, man. Like my brother didn't want to have anything to do with like managing it really. He
Yeah.
just wanted to, buy the
Yeah.
property and like let me, let someone else kind of handle it.
Right.
He was sort of the main capital partner in that endeavor, at least in the beginning. And then I was able to pay him off for some of that. But I've really enjoyed managing it. Now we've got it up for sale right now. Just because I'm changing my strategy. I don't think I'm going to do long-term rentals in California for a little bit. I'll probably come back into California at some point, but we've got it up for sale and that whole thing. So it's something I kind of know, like the single family is something I kind of know a little bit already, and just managing. But I tell you, managing a single property as opposed to like 10, yeah, that's a whole different ball game. So I wouldn't be able to manage like 10 properties or anything like that.
Now you know why I like to keep the 10 under one roof, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You know, that's why I don't do
100%.
single family,
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
okay, great. So you enjoy doing that. You obviously have a clear path ahead of you. Let me give you three things that you need to do every single week to work towards that.
Mhm.
All right. You heard of Gino Wickman?
No, Gino Wickman?
Rocket Fuel.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
All right. So it's called rocks, three rocks. Okay. These three rocks, I tweaked a little bit. And these are the three rocks where I usually set them up every Sunday for the week. These are three things, hell or high water, I need to do them. I don't care who's going to try to get in front of me. I will stomp on someone just to get these three rocks done. Okay. One of them is lead generation.
Mhm.
Any kind of lead generation. You're obviously doing it right now. The 4 hours a day talking direct to agent, which is great. The second one is knowledge. It's a knowledge rock. Learn something new that has to do with your path. Not now only, but you could alternate it between now, the first year, and the last 4 years. So for you, personalized to you now, would be anything that you would need to learn in the first year to be better at direct to agent. Okay. Zero equity, whatever it is, how do I talk better to agents? Learn that from wherever. It doesn't matter if it's Pace, one of the leaders, it doesn't matter. Okay. The last one is the actual putting it into play, whatever you learned. Okay. Because there's two types of information. All right. Justin, there's two types of information. There's one information that's interesting information. But then you have important information. Interesting information is when I tell you something about, 1031 exchanges and you're like, you don't even have a single rental property. That's interesting, right?
Yeah.
But guess when it becomes important? It's when you need it. Okay. So implementing whatever you learned that week to make your business better through the lead generation. So one rock feeds the other every single week.
I love that.
So for example, this week, you're learning how to, talk to agents and overcome the, what happens if the house burns down objection. I need to go into the sub 2 vault, whatever it is, whatever resources, right? I need to learn how to overcome this objection. Now I'm going to take this objection and I'm going to apply it when it comes up my way by doing the lead generation rock. You see what I mean? So you consistently do that. Next thing you know, you're like, wait a minute, I'm a wizard at overcoming objections, let's say. Why? Because you put the time and effort consistently every single week to learn something new and apply it.
Yeah.
Okay. So you do that for the next 5 years, bro. Once you flip over your strategy now to multifamily, guess what you're doing? You're doing the same exact thing. My advice to you, don't learn something about multifamily until you're ready to go. Okay.
Yeah.
Once you have it presented in front of you. Otherwise, it's just noise.
It's just another.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I love Vina Jenny. I love her. I love what she does. However, there's some people that get into it and they don't even have a single property.
Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't make sense to me.
Yep.
Stuff like that. So that's just my advice, based on you. And that was the
amazing,
session right
man.
there.
I love that. That's
what I'm saying?
That's a great point.
Amazing. Yeah,
So-
that's amazing. I really appreciate that, man. You're totally right. And I do some of those things as far as learning the important stuff when I need it, when it comes up. I'm big on like going and finding the information first before asking questions, before like, going and bothering Pace or bothering somebody to ask the question, because that's what it seems like a lot of people do. It's just easier to go ask someone, so that's what people do as opposed to like kind of finding the information. We've already got
Yeah.
them, if you're
I'm
especially if you're in sub two, like you've got the information. There's resources
I'm
for it.
I'm like Pace. Did you
Yeah,
go watch the Zoom
yeah,
vault,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
or did
100%.
you look up a YouTube video?
Yeah,
What do you know about it? That's the first question I ask. I answer a question with a question. What do
yeah,
you know about it so far? Well, I know this and this and this and that. Now, as a mentor, I already know you did your homework and you're still kind of confused about something that needs to happen.
yeah.
Now I could take you from there. I don't want to start from the beginning with you, prehistoric days. Because I'm running 6 businesses.
Mhm.
I have a family. I got 32 employees.
Mhm.
So I need to be able to do that. But at the same time, I want to be able to contribute. So help yourself and then get the help that you
Yeah,
need.
yeah, that's
So
huge.
that's awesome, man. I commend you on that.
Well, I
You're
appreciate your help, man.
yeah, I'm always available, bro. You need me, I got you. You know
I
what
will
I'm saying?
take you up on that, man.
All
I
right.
will take you up.
Well, get you guys connected after the
Yeah,
make sure
That's
Jesse,
amazing.
you're both close friends of mine, so we'll
yeah.
make sure we get you guys connected.
Thank you, man.
Justin, did I answer your question, my friend?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, more than answered my
Hey,
question.
brother,
Yeah.
thank you for being here. As always, you're steadfast,
Thank
and
you,
I
man.
love you being here. Jennifer, you're out the captain. What's your question?
Learn something new every day. I love it.
So I wanted to start it off like we do in the tribe, when we go to speak, is what I'm thankful for. This is like one of the only groups that has really pushed me to that, where you feel uncomfortable, but you're growing because you're uncomfortable. And then when you take that next step, because you stepped past that, your family behind you, which is the tribe, is really happy and cheering you on.
Love
They're
that.
not just cheerleaders to go sit there and go, 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 go. They're there to back you up to make sure you grow. So thank you, Yasser and Pod and everybody that's in there helping us do that.
Thank you.
But anyways, as an entrepreneur, because I own a business too, what is your biggest challenge that you have had in the last year, and how are you working through it?
Oh man, that's a really loaded question. What challenge did I not have in the past year? Okay. Let's see. That's a good question. What challenge did I have and what did I do to overcome it, kind of thing? Is that what you're
Yep.
asking? All right.
Mhm.
I think one of the challenges that I've had, especially in the tribe, is getting people to see the realization or to realize their potential. As a mentor, sometimes I see things in people before they even see it themselves. And the hardest part as a mentor, and quite frankly, the most frustrating part sometimes, but my patience is there. Thank God. I thank God for patience, because it takes me a very long way with everyone. The toughest part is getting people to see their own potential, that you already see, because they're so stuck in their way or their limiting belief, and as a high level mentor, the first thing I look at is childhood. I look at how they were raised. What's their life like? What's their situation? What's limiting them? And the way I see it is kind of like water, where you and I, let's say we're walking a property and the water is just, it won't shut off, the water will not shut off. However, it's being blocked into one of the bathrooms. And I'm trying to figure out, as a investor, as an entrepreneur, as a mentor, why is the water on everywhere else except for this one bathroom? That's kind of how it is to be a mentor. Now we're looking at it 2 different ways. I'm looking at it as, hey, the water's on, just not turning on in this bathroom. You're looking at it as a student, right? As a mentee, right? Sorry, JJ. I had to use it, bro. I had to use it.
It applies.
Someone, you see it differently. You're like, well, this house is bad because there's no water in this bathroom, and I don't think I'm able to fix it. And I'm like, no, the water's on. It's just not on in this room, in this bathroom. Okay. And I'm like, here's the wrench. Go try to figure it out. And I'm hovering over you while you're trying to fix it, trying to fix the pipes to let the water flow in that bathroom. And what happens is sometimes when I'm giving you the tool, All right. You're like, first of all, this tool is too heavy. You're coming up with all the excuses, right? This tool is too heavy. Oh, I'm too sore from the gym. Whatever the excuses are, those are limiting the beliefs. And as a mentor, I sit there and I'm like, geez, stop. We have a problem on our hand right now. We got to get this water going, And so finally you're like, okay, I'm going to do it. Then all of a sudden I walk away, come back, and the wrench is on the ground again. I'm like, what happened? Well, it's too hard. That's the most frustrating part as a mentor. Okay. Giving all the tools, the resources, the encouragement, being there, holding hands essentially. But I do it differently. I don't hold hands, right? I give you the tool and I tell you how I did it. I could show you how to do it and I'll do it. I'll show you how I do it, just like when I do live seller calls and agent calls and I record them. However, just because I do it at that level doesn't mean you're going to get to that level immediately. You're looking at 23 years of experience. So it's easy for mentees to really see that and get frustrated and say, I'm never going to get to that level. And that's total garbage. I don't believe that, So giving you that wrench now, I'm like, come on, you could do it. You could do it. And then I'm like, hey, yo. And then I grab another person who's like, give me that wrench. Let me fix it. Someone who's under my wing. And then they do it. And you're like, wait, they could do it? I could do it too. That's the popcorn effect. You see what I mean? And so now you're like, wow, and then you do it. And you're like, oh, that was not that bad, actually. I know how to do it now. I'm like, great, sayonara. Now go teach it to everyone else that has the same issue with this water. So that's the biggest obstacle as a mentor that I experience, especially in the past year. That happened to my teams, a lot of my team members, a lot of tribe members, and a lot of people from Sub 2 that came to me as well. But what's cool, what keeps me going is the ones who actually take the tool and take the direction and take the guidance and actually do it.
So,
but not
only, let me, to go on Jennifer's question. So with the last year, and you've got all these students and you're teaching and you're showing them how to do things, what has been your biggest frustration? I want to get clarification on that. What has been your biggest? Is it the students that haven't picked up the wrench?
It's the students that, first of all, are afraid to get into the bathroom to begin with. All right. And then once they get to the bathroom, they're terrified of picking up the wrench. And once they pick up the wrench, they come up with all the excuses not to do the job. All right. And that's the biggest frustration I've ever had, especially the past couple of years, but mainly the past year with the tribe. We've been up and running since September. And that's really, you can have all the answers in the world. You can have, and everybody knows, I don't teach on hypotheticals. I teach on real live deals, real live leads, because otherwise I could sit here and brain dump all day and you're going to be like, oh, that's interesting information, but it doesn't apply to you. So I approach it differently, but the most frustrating part is really that, where it's like, I can't do it. I'm not capable of doing it. My mom and dad told me I couldn't do it. My husband, my wife, everyone else is telling me I can't. My friends are telling me I can't do it. And I tell your friends, I tell them F you. All right. Tell them F you, because you are capable of doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Jennifer, did that answer your question?
That did answer my question, and I know Yasser well. So
Jennifer, always good to see you. Thank you so much for being on with us today. So Yasser, I want to wrap up a little bit here. I want to keep your crew around, particularly for a little bit of breakout rooms for us. But wanted to ask you again, for those that are watching on YouTube, they want to follow up. They want to learn more about you or more about Coffee with Captain, or some people just want to fly on an airline with you. What is the best way for people to reach out? Is it your Instagram? Is it your Facebook?
It's my Instagram and my Facebook.
This is your Facebook page for your Facebook group, Coffee with the Captain. And of course, we can invite you. Once we join, we can invite others to the group. Awesome.
Do the QR code and you guys could just scan it right there. And that should be able to pull up the page so you guys could join it. And I'm also on Instagram. I am the property captain. It's my name tag as well. So that's how you can follow me.
So before we go, I've got one last question for you. And I really want to thank you for being on today. Dropped some great gold nuggets. We stayed on a little bit longer, which we really appreciate. But my group's a networking group. And if people are into real estate and whether they're new to one of the many education programs or they're an experienced investor who's coming into one of the education programs, such as Fortune Builders, Astro, Sub2, there's a variety of them out there. What is the importance of networking to someone's business? And what is the importance of maybe joining a networking group like mine? Again, it's very similar, but a little bit different to the success of someone's business.
Oh my God, bro. And this applies to, like Justin brought up a great point about being an integrator. Even as an integrator, you still need to connect with people. Real estate is just one of many businesses out there. However, business starts with talking to people, right? It starts with connecting with people on a deeper level than just knowing their name. It starts with knowing their stories, where they were, where they are now, where they're going, their kids, their family, what makes them tick.
As I like to say, building rapport and discovering commonality.
Yeah, exactly. And it does come down to three things. If I'm going to do business with someone, I prefer to do business with someone that I know, I like, and I trust.
Bingo.
And if one of those is missing, then I don't care how good the deal is. I don't care how good the business opportunity is. If I can't sleep at night thinking that you're going to run away with something or you're going to betray my trust or whatever it is, I don't care how good the deal is. It's not going to happen. So those are the three key factors there, and that happens through rapport. Rapport is really being interested in someone else and seeing what they need in order to provide value. Even people like me on this level still have something that we don't have, that we need in our business or our personal life. Being receptive by actively listening to someone and what their problem is and providing it without saying, hey, how can I help you? And just come out of nowhere and, hey, you said the other week that you had an issue with, and then you're providing the solution. Guess what? You're already a step in the door with that person. It doesn't matter if the person's bigger, smaller, it doesn't matter. Right. But the point is that person subliminally will like you and actually trust you because you care about them.
Yeah,
so it's all about the with them, what's in it for me syndrome, right? Where people like, what's in it for me, And so when you're talking to people, actively listen and answer and ask open-ended questions to get to know who they truly are. Get to know who they are. I know all about you, JJ. You know all about me. And there's a reason. I love you. I trust you, right? I enjoy being around you. And you're a pleasant guy to be talking with.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that's what it's all about, guys.
Yeah, and just as Yasser says, getting to know people, building those relationships, surrounding yourself with the 5 people you want to, there's the old saying, we become the sum of the 5 people we surround ourselves with. And who are those people? How do we find them? We look for them, we seek them out, we find people of commonality, people have the same mindset, same goal, same direction, but are they like us? And how do we find that out? By building rapport and discovering who they are. And
right.
That's key. Yasser, if you guys are watching right now, I love you, brother. If you're watching on YouTube right now, I want you to, please click like on Yasser's video. If you're watching right now on YouTube, please put, comments in the chat, what your takeaways were, what you really thought was beneficial to the call, because there's gold nuggets all over the place. But again, if you want to get a hold of Yasser through his Facebook, through his Instagram, and we've recorded things here, so go watch the video again because you'll see all the ways to connect with him. If you want to reach out with me, it's jjzizian.com. It's my website. And again, click the little pulse button that says register now. But really want to thank you guys for joining us. Yasser's video will be up in about a week. We get a pretty good turnaround, I think, for all the editing and everything. And Yasser and I just want to thank everybody who's been on the call. Do not go away because we're going to go to some breakout rooms. And again, Yasser, I want to thank you so much for being on, my brother. Everybody, look for more stuff coming up from Flipside Up with JJ, more with Coffee and the Captain, and just great value all the way around. Thank you guys again for joining us. Appreciate you. On behalf of Yasser and myself, we'll see you guys soon. Over
Thank you,
now.
guys.